Okay, so we're going to Boundin, and
Yeah.
this one is a very weird short to me. Like
Hmm.
it's about a lamb who gets sheared, who basically was very popular amongst all the other critters in this desert, and then all of a sudden the farmer comes, shears it, and then leaves it with no fur, with no wool, and now everyone's laughing at the lamb or the sheep, and so then here comes this is it jackalope? Did they say?
Yeah, it's a jackalope. Yeah.
Jackalope, yeah. So Jackalope comes and then sings a song to obviously lift its spirits up and have it bouncing around and bounding and not really caring about the fact that it's lost all its wool and eventually it will grow back. So it's
Yeah.
and
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
so it's I mean I don't know about the actual origins of like the Jackalope song. I don't know if like is like an original like thing that
It is an original song. Yeah. I mean, to one person who came up with not only the song, but he also voiced the jackalope. He wrote it and he directed it, and that is Bud Luckey.
mhm.
And
And
he also was responsible for doing a lot of stuff for Pixar. Like he was a character designer for pretty much all a lot of the Toy Story films, and then there was like A Bug's Life, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, Ratatouille. You may know him as the voice of Rick Decker in The Incredibles and Chuckles the Clown in Toy Story 3, and he was Eeyore in the 2011 version of Winnie the Pooh. Unfortunately, in 2018, he sadly passed away. So this is definitely a sad, thing to look into Bounding, knowing that he had a major part in this short.
yeah, I was looking at a snake, and he sort of kind of looks like Car from the Jungle Book.
Yeah, he kind of does, doesn't he?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if that's an obvious reference. I think in that, but yeah, I think one of the things I really like about this is that it's a nice wholesome tale of like a sheep that's lost all its confidence, and here comes someone to kind of lift it back up again.
Yeah.
And it's like it kind of leads like that anyone can be a jackalope and like just kind of be that kind of person to like lift someone out of their misery. I just think it's I think it's a really good story. I think in that
Yeah,
regard.
and not to mention, this is the very first Pixar short, like official Pixar short, that's not with Monsters Inc. or anything like that, that actually has vocals and speaking. So yeah, it's also a very important, Pixar short of what was able to come to it, and I think that the moral about like don't be embarrassed about yourself, and just if you feel bad about yourself, just continue to showcase on who you are and not let anybody make fun of you for it. I think that's a really good lesson.
Mhm. So, in according to this, writer and director Bud Luckey designed and voiced all the characters, composed all the music, and wrote the story. According to the director's commentary for The Incredibles, Brad Bird wanted to introduce the animated short by having Rick Dicker, the superhero relocator from The Incredibles, also voiced by Luckey, enter a room, sit down, and pull out his banjo. But
Yeah, because
yeah.
they both voiced the character. Yeah, and
Yeah.
speak and this was featured in The Incredibles.
hmm So this is the first Pixar short with the theatrical release that introduced vocal performances with words, and so this is actually a whole song. This is actually one of the first musical shorts that we've had.
Hmm.
So and all prior filming included only sound effects. And in addition, this is the first Pixar short to include vocal performance and not to be based on a star character from the Pixar theatrical film. So.
Yeah, so basically there is like no major celebrity, unlike in when we talked about Mike's New Car, in which it had Billy Crystal and John Goodman, which there were the celebrities who voices the characters. I mean, to be quite honest, a lot of the Pixar shorts, especially a lot of the earlier ones, and I guess maybe even the newer ones, where they just featured like the producers and the animators themselves providing the voices of these characters. Like you have Bob Peterson, who voices Jerry right before in Toy Story 2, it would go over to Jonathan Winters. And here's no exception in which like Bud Luckey was the voice of the jackalope and the lamb, and even various characters in the Pixar films and Disney films. So Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not too surprising. I guess it works like video games in the 90s, in which, like, they didn't hire voice actors to portray these characters. They would get the animators, the producers, and the directors to voice them themselves, which is why, if you look at Banjo-Kazooie, for example, they didn't hire voice actors. They just used, all the people who were just working on staff, which is why Grant Kirkhope is Donkey Kong, and, a lot of the people from, like, Conker's Bad Fur Day were just voiced as, like, just the creators themselves. Like Chris Seaver is Conker, and he was the major director behind various video games like Killer Instinct and Conker's Bad Fur Day. So yeah, I mean that's what they did. That was kind of like the mindset back then. But nowadays, because we have like large budgets and a lot of manpower, then we can be able to hire voice actors to do all this kind of stuff.
So, for those of you who don't know what the jackalope is, basically it's a mythical animal in North American folklore, and it's basically a jackrabbit with antelope horns.
Yeah, and don't believe about all the stuff that you would see on like Western stores or restaurants in which you do see like a rabbit with those kind of cantaloupe ears, not cantaloupe, antelope. That's what I meant to say. Not cantaloupe. That's a fruit. Anyway, antelope ears. No, that's actually not real.
Well, antelope horns, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So they just glue them there. I mean, there's no such thing as a jackalope. So yeah,
Well,
this is not going to be
Patricia,
like
I saw it on the internet, so it's gotta be true.
Yeah, what is this? Like the Western equivalent of the snipe, in which like it's supposed to be like a ritual for campers to like find the jackalope? Or I don't know.
Honestly, but yeah. So that was Boundin, and yeah, it was definitely a very wonderful thing. But as with always, somewhere down the line, someone has to ruin it. So in the Cars DVD, if you're really interested, there is a version of Boundin which has Mater as the jackalope, Lightning McQueen as the sheep, and Guido as the golfers as an Easter egg.
Oh, yay.
Okay. I really want to empty that out of my head right now, so why don't we focus on the next one, which is Jack Jack Attack?
Yes, so let's continue off the incredible shorts with Jack Jack Attack.